and welcome to the Butterfly Sage. Today we're going to be planting some window boxes for winter. And we're going to be planting some dwarf Alberta spruce and Gaultheria procumbens, which is otherwise known as wintergreen or eastern teaberry. Dwarf Alberta spruce is obviously native to Alberta, Canada. These are cute little trees that look and smell like Christmas trees. They say they can get 5 to 13 feet tall and 3 to 10 feet wide. Now that's quite a big difference in sizing. So I'm going to guess they're going to land somewhere in the middle. But I've never grown dwarf Alberta spruce before. They say they are pollinator attractants for birds and butterflies. However, I could not tell you which specific types because I've never grown it before. But dwarf Alberta spruce has problems, a lot of problems that are hard to keep them alive. So I'm hoping I can keep mine alive. They're kind of persnickety. They get winter burn in places where the ground freezes real hard and then they'll have a sunny day, but the ground is frozen and so the roots can't get water, and then that causes the needles to get brown and fall off. Now that shouldn't be a problem here on the wet side of Oregon, the west side of Oregon, where it's constantly wet and cloudy and foggy. So I should hopefully not have that problem with winter burn. But the other problem they have is they tend to get the spruce spider mites real bad. And so I am going to this spring in March order some of those predatory mites to eat the spider mites so that hopefully I can preemptively combat any mite problem or infestation that they might possibly get. Now, I could probably leave these dwarf Alberta spruce in these window boxes for a couple of years because they grow so slow. They only grow about 2 to 4 inches
per year.
So, but I will probably move them out in the spring. Now, this window box looks cute. I think it's simple and easy, but it needs something else. So I'm going to go to this garden bed out front and pull out some Dusty Miller to put into these window boxes. Dusty Miller normally it winters over for us here in Zone 8B. Generally when it gets too cold and we have consistent below frozen temperatures, it will die back. But we don't have that very often. So it will definitely should overwinter for us. It is a tender perennial, so there's a possibility that they may not winter over, but they should still look pretty decent for the next month. This is kind of killing two birds with one stone for me. I actually just don't like the way Dusty Miller looks in this particular garden bed. I like Dusty Miller. I think it's pretty. I just didn't like it here where I put it, so I will be glad to get rid of it out of this bed. I have no idea where I'm going to put it. I might just chuck it all together because I recently read it is toxic to dogs and cats. So after I use them in these window boxes, they may just go by the wayside. I normally don't care about plants being toxic to dogs and cats, the plants in my yard, because honestly, almost every plant is toxic to dogs or cats. And if I went by that rule, I would hardly have any plants. But I go by the rule by plants where they just brush up against that plant can make them sick. Like for instance, lilies. If a cat brushes by a lily and the pollen falls off of that lily plant, that can make the cat sick just by the pollen falling onto their fur, and then they lick it and then they can get sick. And this apparently Dusty Miller is the same way. So after they get used in these window boxes, I think I'll just toss them. I like the way it looks. I like the way the Dusty Miller filled it in. I had planned on getting some cyclamen or violas or pansies, something a little bit more colorful to fill in between the trees and the wintergreen. However, none of my garden centers had very much to choose from this season. I even bought these dwarf Alberta spruces back in November, so it's not like I waited to the last minute to go around and look. Note to self, next time I will try to be proactive about getting my winter plants earlier. So while I plant up this second window box, we're going to talk about the wintergreen. So this is native to the eastern side of North America, all the way up from Newfoundland, Canada, down to the south in Alabama. This is a low growing ground cover. It only gets to like 4 to 6 inches high, and it'll spread about to 8 inches. They say plant them a foot apart. And it's not invasive, even though it is a creeping winter berry. It's not something that's going to grow really fast. It only grows slowly by rhizomes underneath the ground. So I think it's an excellent choice to support wildlife, your pollinators, including songbirds, especially during the winter time. Well, second window complete, and I think it doesn't look too bad. I wish I had a little bit more color, pop of color. I think maybe next year I might buy some more of that wildberry heuchera from Proven Winners, because the ones I have in my garden are looking amazing right now. That pop of color is just fantastic, and I think that will look really great in these windows. I am going to call it a day. That's all I've got planned for today. I was going to try to do some decorating outside, but it's just too cold. And the fog is rolling in even thicker, so I am gonna go inside, throw my clothes in the washer, and get myself in the shower before I touch anything. Thank you guys for coming, and until next time, feed the pollinators for me. I'm a mess.